Okay, I don't know if anybody's out there. I'm just, this is a bit of a test live stream here. Cheers, anyway. Is there anybody actually watching this at all? Is there anybody there? I haven't done a live stream on this channel yet. Okay, it said I've got one person watching at the moment. I don't know if you can hear me or not. The chat's on, so if you want to say hello on the chat, you can do. I'll see it here. Still waiting for people to come into the chat. Don't know if anybody's out there yet. This is just really a test chat. It's Saturday night. I'm at home. Nothing on TV. Very, very bored. So I thought I'd give the live chat a little bit of a go. Had a good one this afternoon with Simon. We did a 2.5 hour stream on the other site. Anyway, if there is anybody out there, cheers, Saturday night. I'm just going to turn my volume up on my other screen. Yeah, that's working, so I know you guys can hear me. Well, it says 2 people are watching. I presume I'm one and there's somebody else. Waiting for somebody to come in the chat. Nobody in the chat yet. And as you can see, it's a little bit amateurish. I haven't got any nice screen behind me tonight, just a green screen. See if putting on the light makes any difference. Any better? Oh, it makes me look anemic. Ah, that's why it says private. Right, is there anybody out there? Saturday night, what were we, nearly 10 past 9. Thought I'd put out one of these live streams, green background, so haven't done much preparation really. Just wanted to see if anybody would come on the screen, on the stream. The live chat's up there, so I can see any comments that anybody puts in. And as it's a Saturday, I'm having one of these. I might have several of these, actually. 1664, 5%. Right, it says there's 4 in the stream now, so hopefully there'll be a few more of you coming along. I'd like to know if the chat's working, actually. If you're watching this, perhaps you could chat, put something into the chat. Not sure if this chat's working properly for me or not. Well, it says there's 10 in the chat at the moment. I can't see any comments coming up. I can't really talk about too much until... right, here we are. Maybe I haven't had it turned on. Live chat, all... yeah, live chat, all messages are visible. Okay, so my... right, so I've just done a test run there. Said hi to myself, so delete that. I know that works. Remove. Yeah, it says there's 10 people out there. I guess I'm one of them. If you're watching this, can somebody say hi on the chat? So just so I know that you're actually seeing this. Into the fire. Hey, great. At least I know it's working now. Right, here we go. 25 people in the chat now. Ooh. Right, hi to Nick the Greek. Into the fire. That's a good name. I can't pronounce that. Devils. I won't even try. Juan Carlos, Stephen Smart, hi. Martin McNally, hi. Joseph, Keith Morris, Daryl, Avram, Raj Popat, is it? Hi. Leo, Ozzy, Sideways, Steve, Paul. Okay, so there's quite a few in the chat now. This is actually my first one. I thought I'd just give it a go. I don't know if you've seen the one earlier with me and Simon on the other channel. We meant to do 2 hours and it went on for about 2.5 hours. It was quite a good chat. We did it on this channel last week. There were over 100 people in it, but there was only 40 on the new channel, unfortunately, because not everybody has actually come over there yet. So what should we talk about tonight? Anybody, any good subjects? The reason I thought I'd give this chat a go rather than the other one, Simon doesn't like to talk too much about the bars and things. And this channel, I'm going to keep it going. It's mainly for the stories and, you know, the sort of things that you send me. So, you know, if you want to ask me any questions about the, you know, about any of the stories, any questions, anything that I haven't filled in on the video, you can do that here. Right, somebody's asked, are you having a haircut? Can't get one at the moment. It's last lockdown. I had a, they called it a lockdown haircut because everybody was doing it themselves. My daughter cut my hair and I did the front, she did the back, and it, yeah, I hope I'm not going to have to do another one of them. So we're 51 people in the chat now. That's great. Hi to everybody. Steve, Paul, Paul Withers, Juan Carlos, we said hello to already. 3Gs, enjoyable stories. Thank you. Aussie 411, return to Thailand. Yeah, Joseph. It's a very, very random street. It's so random. I haven't got a backdrop that you haven't seen. I don't think you've seen the green screen before, have you? Peter Wilcox. Hi, Peter. What are you going? When are you going back? Good question. When is anybody going back? We don't know, do we? That's the big question now. Is that everybody wants to know when we're going back? This was a subject that came up on this afternoon stream as well. Hi to Floris. Good evening. I'm quite surprised. There's quite a few of you joined the chat this evening. And as it's a Saturday, I've got one of these. I might have several of these, but if my face starts going red, I know I've had enough. So cheers if you're having a drink as well. Okay. Just sitting, having a read of these comments. Lovely green color. It's a horrible green color, isn't it? What I intend to do is if I do some, we're having live streams on our other channel, Simon and I, because Simon's in Thailand. that's a regular live stream every Saturday, 12 o'clock UK time and 7 p.m. Thai time. Not a great time for people in America, but I've just ad-libbed. I've done this one ad-lib. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing, and if I do make it regular, I'll sort the background out. I'll make it a little bit more enticing, a little more nicer to look at, as it were. But if you've just joined me, hi. And again, it's really about the stories and everything that I tell every week. If you've got any questions, you can ask me here. So, Joseph, if no vaccine is available in Thailand until June, then it will be a long time away. And DM, do you use... I can't read that one. Naughty. Okay, we can talk about bar girls here. There's no harm in that, but we've got to keep it sort of clean for YouTube, you know. So if you've got any question about any of the bars, bar girls, Nana Plaza, Pattaya, Walker Street, anything like that, we can talk about it here. It's not a problem. It's not an issue. We've just got to keep it clean. Right, so we've got 55 people in the chat now. I wasn't actually expecting that. Welcome. Who else? Yeah, cheers, Raj. Okay, Andy M, I'll just... yeah, no, I won't answer it. Douglas, if you have 2 vaccines, when will I get back to Thailand? It's not really about the vaccines this end, really. It's about what the Thais decide. I mean, we're in the UK, the vaccine program's going extremely well. I think the vaccinated, how many were they saying? I'm just trying to think, 15 million, something like 14, 15 million. There's only 78, 80 million people in the whole of the UK. So, you know, they're getting through them. But even if they manage to vaccinate everybody twice, you know, it's up to the Thais when we can go back, really. Hi, Yusuf. Where are you actually at the moment? Right, LOL, Peter, this is from Joseph Say. You should see some of the live bar streams, not exactly clean, and often they are getting away with it when they don't create another channel. Yeah, I've watched some of those streams from the bars in Pattaya, and I know what you mean, but I don't know. I'm not being old-fashioned, but I don't really want to sort of bring swearing and all that into it. We can still talk about the bars and all the rest of it without sort of going down that way. Just my opinion. That's how I am. David, shame Thailand is just starting to create their own vaccine. Yeah, that'll be good if that goes well. Steve, 50 million bar girls vaccinated. Andy, if you cannot talk about bar girls in Thailand, it's not much use when people go to visit. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that, Andy. Sorry if you're not happy about that. It's just, you know, people can read your comments, can't they? So, 30 years, I became friends with a woman here in the US who used to be a bar girl. She told me she would average around 1,000 men each year. Doesn't surprise me at all. What else we've got here? Mark Whittaker. Hello from California. What time is it in California, Michael? Robert Gilbert. I know a few bar owners and managers on Cowboy, and boy, are they hurting. Yeah, some have been able to hang on longer than others, haven't they? Excuse me, keep going down here. There's a heater down here. It gets too hot. I have to keep turning it off and then get it back on again. Yeah, so a lot of the, you know, I talk to Dave the Rave occasionally. He doesn't live far from me, and he was in the bar scene. And yeah, some of them, they had the first lockdown, didn't they? And then they let them open in Pattaya. And I read somewhere that one of the bars were making, I think it was 4 baht on a beer, but they were doing it just to kind of generate some, you know, some income, cash flow, and just get the girls working again. A lot of them who had hung out even longer to the end there, you know, a lot of them have come back now. Right, let's see what other comments we've got coming up here. Greetings from Serbia, Denny. Hi. Moonlight Mr. Memories. Stories are great, Peter. Happy I haven't lived most of them. Sad to hear about expats being suckered. So, you know, that's something that comes up quite often when people write to me and ask me certain questions about these stories. They say things like, oh, I can't believe these guys were so gullible, and, you know, how stupid, you wouldn't do that in your own country. And yeah, there is that side to it, but you've got to remember, you know, those guys, a lot of them come out of a messy divorce. They've lived on their own for a long time. They wouldn't necessarily go looking for that sort of thing in their own countries. But of course, when you go to a place like Pattaya, you know it's going to be there before you get there. But if you've never experienced it before, guys, those girls are very good at what they do. They do. You go there for 2 weeks, they do it day in, day out, month in, year in, year in, and they're experts. I mean, absolute experts. You won't pull the wool over their eyes. So, when some of these guys go out there and these stories are you hear me reading these stories, and you probably think, my God, how could he have fallen for something so obvious? But I've seen it happen with friends, and you can warn people. You can say, look, don't do it. She's after your money, and people don't listen. They've got to have their fingers burnt at least once or twice before they finally, come of age, as it were. Okay, I'm just checking who else is in the stream here. We've got Dave Griffiths. Hi, Peter. I've just provisionally booked the initial Hua-Hin for January the 22nd. How far time took to get to Soi Bintabar? It's not far at all. It's about 10 minutes. That's all. So if you're in Hua-Hin and you want to go out and get action, go around the bars and stuff, Soi 80 is kind of where the local expats go, and then you've got Soi Bintabat, which is near the Hilton Hotel. That's quite a lively bar scene. They don't have any go-go bars in Hua-Hin. Dole, do you think Thailand is safe for a young guy to travel solo, Peter? Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a good comment that came up on the chat this afternoon when I was on with Simon. Somebody actually said the problem with watching all these videos and, 20 things not to do in Thailand, 20 scams, and be careful of this, be careful of that. He said you can actually watch these. If you've never been there, you can. By the time you've finished watching all these videos and reading all these advice pages, you can end up being so scared to death to go to Thailand that you'll just be totally put off. I've actually had people leave a comment in a video that I've made several times and said, that's scary. I was planning to go to Thailand, but I'm never going to go again. And, I can understand where they're coming from, but I've forgotten who's just left that comment there. But young guy, is it safe? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, as long as you don't do anything stupid. I personally feel safer walking through Bangkok at 3 o'clock in the morning than I would do walking through London at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I mean that, they don't tend to hit you on the head with a brick and rob your wallet. There is crime in Thailand, obviously. I'm not blind, but generally it's fairly safe. And even if you move about the country, yeah, you could take trains by yourself. You can, even go down to Pattaya on the blue bus. So yeah, no, you won't have any problems. Okay, if you've just joined us in the chat, there's 91 here now. Welcome to everybody. Peter Wilcott, what's the cost of living like? Well, that's like saying how long's a piece of string, doesn't it? It depends what kind of a lifestyle you want to live out there. I mean, if you're going to go out there and your sole intention is to party every night, you're going to need a lot of money. If you're talking about retiring, what you probably are, I would say, again, depending on where you live, I would say comfortably. It depends if you want to drink, if you don't want to drink. It's really hard to nail it down with a figure, but I would say personally, let's just say you weren't going to go out to the bars and live the good life in that way. You just wanted to go to Thailand, enjoy the food, the culture, the occasional beer in a quiet bar, that sort of thing. Yeah, probably. I know guys who get by on 30,000, 40,000 baht a month. If you want to live fairly well, myself personally, I'd want about 75,000 to 100,000 baht a month, just because I don't want to travel 6,000 miles to the other side of the world, and I'm broke all the time. I mean, I've known guys who go with a budget so low, most of the time they're sitting in their room or they're sitting on the steps of 7-Eleven drinking a Leo beer. Well, what's the point in traveling halfway across the globe to live in poverty? You can do that in your own country. Anyway, talking of beers, I mean, it's not a Leo, but it's a 1066. Quite a nice beer, this. All right, just say hello to everybody else. Who else? We've got some questions. Juan Carlos, when do you think would a 35-year-old man live in Pattaya or Bangkok? Right, so you're asking, you're 35, and is it better to live in Pattaya or Bangkok? It depends what you want to do. I mean, if you've got plenty of money and you want to live the party lifestyle, I'd say Pattaya for a while until you get bored of it. Bangkok, it's a lot more cosmopolitan. It's not, Pattaya is solely concentrated on vacations and all that goes with it. I read somewhere that they're trying to turn it into a world-class family resort. I mean, it might happen. I don't want to say I can't see that happening. It happens. And not overseas. One thing I would recommend for newbies to Thailand is to observe how Thai drivers just ignore traffic lights when you're sober, and remember that when you're drunk walking back to the hotel. Good point. Yeah, I mean, if you've never been to Thailand before, and they've got rules and regulations, but they don't stick to them like we do here. I'm not criticizing them, but I'll give you an example. In the UK, if I'm driving my car, or anybody in the UK is driving, if they hear sirens and it's an ambulance or a fire truck, they'll pull over. I had it today, actually. I was out in a fire truck come by, and you just automatically, emergency, you pull over. That doesn't happen in Thailand. You could have an ambulance, God knows who's in the back hanging on for life, and people won't slow down. They won't let it by. I don't know if it's changed now, but they never used to. Andy Essex, 80,000 baht is about £1,900. Yeah, it's not, you know, if you want to live like a Thai in an Isan village, yeah, you can probably get by on 25,000 a month, but do you want to fly to Thailand and live like that? I know guys who have done it. Some are happy, some build houses, or, you know, they help on farms and things like that. But the biggest problem for living in a Thai village, especially a real small Thai village, is boredom. I've spoken to people who've done it. They meet the Thai girl of their dreams. They're on a small budget. They head up to Isan, to one of the, you know, Buriram, somewhere really small, maybe not Buriram, but a real small place. And they get bored. There isn't too many foreigners around. And what happens, the drinking culture comes in then, doesn't it? And it's a good way to kind of get rid of the evenings, just drink. So you want a kind of a happy balance. Bangkok is very polluted now. When I'm in Bangkok, I can feel the back of my throat get very tickly because of the pollution. Hua Hin's, if you're older like I am, Hua Hin's a very nice destination. It's not too quiet. You've got a bit of everything, nice beaches and stuff in just down the road in Chatham. It all depends what you want to do when you go there. You're 35. I can't tell you what I do because I'm 61. I know what I did when I was 35, but then I got 78 baht to the pound, not whatever it is now, 38.40. Rick Smith, morning, Peter. Excited to see the live stream. This is morning in Australia. Hi, Rick. It's unrehearsed, and we've got a green screen behind us. I don't know if I'm going to be regular doing this. If I do, I'll put this backdrop out. It doesn't look very nice. Luke Powell, good to see you live. Love the vids. Keep it up, buddy. Thanks. Appreciate that. Damien, how are you? Finally got on the live stream. That's Damien Simmons. He's been watching me from day one. Almost a friend, I should think now. He's invited me to stay with his, to show me around Buriram when I get to Thailand. I'm going to definitely take him up on that. Joseph, laugh out loud. Why bother moving if you can't afford it? Waste of time. Although sometimes I wonder if escaping from the West would still be worth it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you want to retire to Thailand, I've made lots of videos. There's thousands of videos on YouTube, but the ones that not upset me, they annoy me more than anything, are these guys who say, hey, I live in Thailand on $500 US a month or $600 US a month. I live above a laundry. I'm paying 1,000 baht for my room, and I eat noodles on the street, and they look like they're having a fantastic time. You know, the problem is what those guys don't tell you. They say they're living on $500 a month and they're living in this room, they're eating noodles, but they don't tell you about the visas, the travel expenses, your medical, lots and lots of things are, if you retire to a country, it's not just about your room and food. There's lots of things you've got to take into account. And these videos, they don't explain that. So, don't ever, if you're thinking of going to Thailand on $500, stay where you are, believe me. Hi to Alexandra DuPont, is that? Last time I looked, it was 40 baht to the pound. Yeah, Darrow, I thought it was about that. Amit Shamar, hello, Peter. Good to see you live. Hello there. Nabala 207. What's up, Peter? I keep up the good work listening from America. Hi. I'm just wondering what time it is in the States at the moment. I suppose it depends if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast. Big countries. It's like Australia, depending on where you are, the time's different, isn't it? Lee Smith. No, I read that wrong there. Lee Smith, he put, no one's going to Thailand again. And I don't know why, maybe it's a beer. I read it. I thought he said no one's listening to you. Oh, well. Simon Millwall, hi Peter, tropical background would be great for the next stream. Yeah, you're right. I'll be honest with you. I tried to work it out because it's late, and I did a stream this afternoon with Simon in Thailand, and we were on there for 2.5 hours, and it went really well, by the way. When I was kind of a little bit nervous to do this, because when you do a stream with another person, if you freeze up or you need to go to the toilet or something, then the other person takes over and you can kind of feed off each other. But when you're on your own, it's actually quite okay. You guys are there and we're just talking. It's very casual. And if you've just joined us, I've got a beer. So it isn't as bad as I thought, but it's a perception. You get nervous before you do you know, before you do something, don't you? When you think you're going to, like when you go for a driving test, you're very nervous. But once you've done it, you think that was easy. If you pass, that is. Okay, who else is here? Lee Robinson, 4:28 on the East Coast. Oh, 4:28 p.m. Okay, so afternoon on the East Coast. Thanks for that. Matthew Cartwright, great to see you live, Peter. Yeah, it's great to be here live. It's actually the first one by myself. As I say, I was nervous. Hopefully it'll carry on going okay. I haven't had any trolls come along yet, but I'm sure there's some waiting in the wings, as it were. Chris Fort, you're doing great. Thanks, Chris. Amit, you are doing great. This doesn't look like your first live stream. No option for super chat. Yeah, I mean, it's a live stream. I'm just kind of classing it as a casual chat, really. I'm not doing super chats and deep, heavy subjects. I just like looking at what you guys are writing, and I can feed off that, and we can just talk about. It's actually good to have you there, because when I make a video, it's just a rehearsed script, really, isn't it? Somebody sends me the story, I have to read it and sort it out and make it nice to read out. I read it, then I put a backdrop, then the logo, and then upload it with keywords and everything. But doing this is much more casual, actually. Right, so we've got 103 in the chat now. We have Lee Smith, hi to you. Have we said hi to Anthony James? Hi from South Africa. Wow, what time is it in South Africa? David Berman, why are you skipping over comments? Why am I skipping over comments? You just can't read them. I don't know if you've done a live stream, if you're out there, there's so many comments coming in. I'm trying to read as many as I can, and I'm trying to talk to you, and you can't pick up every comment. You can't pick up. I'm trying to pick up as many as I can, but some get skipped over, and because it's going so fast, you miss them. So if I miss yours and I haven't read it out, don't get offended. Just leave some more, and I'll hopefully pick them up the second or third time. Anyway, I'm going to have a rest and have a beer. Okay, so Sim C, hello from Zanzibar. Wow. Oh, Amit, hi, yeah, hi. Didn't recognize you there, so you just looked at your picture. Maybe next time you should get a drink. Say no more. And I don't know if I'm going to drink this tonight. Not all of it, certainly, but I look like an alcoholic now, don't I? This is a cheapie, really. It's from Co-op, our local Co-op. It's all right. I might have a sip later, but problem is with whiskey, you know, it goes to your head straight away, doesn't it? Ugh. Indian Terry. Hey, Peter from Virginia. Hi. What's your Alexandra? What's your take on Phuket opening up next October? Going on about the vaccination? It's the same old question, isn't it? Really, not just about Phuket, about anywhere. You know, people they ask each other, when do you think we'll go back? When do you think this will happen? Really, nobody knows. We just have to, you know, watch this space, as they say. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. There's some very good YouTubers who are based in Thailand. I'm sure you know who they are. Somebody said to me the other day, actually, they said, don't you feel threatened that this guy is out there and he's got 200,000 subscribers, he's doing this, he's doing that? And I said, no, there's a market for everybody, isn't there? And I mean, I'm not making any money out of this apart from the odd tip that you guys give me. So it's not exactly competition for me, is it? If somebody likes the stories and they want to watch them, great. If they don't, I mean, I watch other YouTube channels. I go and watch his channel. It's very good, actually. But I'm not in competition with anybody. Haywood Jabalomi, Thailand tourism is dead and it isn't coming back. Well, you say that. I mean, I don't want to start an argument here, but the one thing I'd say to you on that, when people say to me, oh, it will never come back again, think about the tsunami, what happened. Everything was wiped out, wasn't it? And it came back. I know it wasn't as long, but I've always said the Thais are very resilient. And if you go to Thailand and you've got money in your pocket and you want to go into a certain bar and spend that money and that isn't available, the bar that was there might have closed down. The owner might have gone back to his country, or if they're Thai, they've gone off somewhere. But someone will step in, they'll open that bar. It might be totally different. But, you know, the Thais are really good at getting your holiday money. You know, they know how to get it from your wallet into their cash register, which is all good because that's what you're going there for. You're going there for a good time, aren't you? But, yeah, they're resilient. The Thais are very resilient. And I honestly, I don't think it's all over. No way. It could be. I mean, it won't be the same, that's for sure, but it's not going to be all over. Who else we've got in the chat tonight? Juan Carlos. How long would it How long would you stay in Bangkok before you went to Pattaya if you'd never been to Thailand and planned to stay for 6 months? Okay, so I'm getting where you're coming from now. So you've never been to Thailand. You watched a lot of videos. You're going to go to Bangkok and you're going to go to Pattaya. So depending on your age, I would say don't plan it in such a way where you say, right, I'm going to go to Bangkok for 2 months, then I'm going to go Pattaya for 3 months, then I'm going to come back. Don't do that. What you want to do, go to Bangkok. If you've never been there before, stay 1 week only or 5 days. That's all you need. Have a look around, get your bearings, see what you think of it. Book a taxi down to Pattaya. Don't cost much, or get a bus if you're on a budget, and spend the next week in Pattaya. Then you've done 2 weeks. You've got 5.5 months left, and you've already explored Pattaya and you've already explored Bangkok. And I wouldn't not go to Hua Hin, because you'll be missing out if you don't go there. And then you can make up your mind where you want to go. They are going to Mexico, Haywood. They are going to Mexico, South America, and other places. Yeah, I mean, personally, I wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, if they suddenly said to me tomorrow, you can go to Cambodia, I'm not particularly Cambodia, I'm just an example. I wouldn't go because my fear is getting caught somewhere you can't get back. I mean, okay, we've got, it's laughable, really. They say we've got lockdown. It's you know, for us, okay, in the UK, I don't know about where you come from, but the thing is, yeah, we can't go on holiday, can we? We can't buy a ticket and go to Thailand. But, you know, we're in our own homes, aren't we? We're in our own countries where, you know, the last thing I want to do is step onto a plane, go somewhere, you know, because I'm desperate to have a good time and then I can't get back. That would be the worst thing in the world to happen. Oh, Bareback Obama, nice to see you again. Hey, Peter, what's up with the green screen? We want to see you being pushed around backwards through. Yeah, he's talking about when I put the videos in the background and chair, it looks like somebody's pushing the wheelchair. Well, if you've just joined me, it's this is totally unscheduled. I didn't even know if it would work. And we've now got 117 in the chat. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing. A lot of people sort of send me comments and they said, "What, you know, why don't you do a live stream? You're one of the only people who don't do it." Simon and I do a regular one on the other channel now. That's every Saturday. So we'll see. I mean, if this goes down well, I might do one every Saturday night. But I've got to sort this green screen out, doesn't it? All right. London Chinese cabbie. Hello, TB and chat. Great to see you. Yep. All right. Nice to see you too. That's a good name. Till it hurts. Evening. Oh. Haywood Jabalo, me. Ask him the same question 100 times. Don't know what that means. Right. Alexandra Dupont. A pity there isn't a Thai lady in your back instead of the green screen. Yeah, I can't do anything about it now, not while I'm on a green screen. If I do another one next week, I'll get it sorted out. I'll figure out how to do it, because it's quite, when you make videos, it's a lot easier to green screen and put a picture or a video in the background. But when you're live streaming it, it's a little bit more complicated. And I am 61, to be fair. I'm not Mr. Techie, you know. So I will try that, I promise. Academy of Dirty Guys, evening host and guys in the chat. Simon Kerry, hello, Peter. When do you think you will get back to Thailand? That same old question again. I don't know, honestly. Steve, I still work, by the way. I do work in there. It's not like if they said tomorrow Thailand is suddenly open and we can get on a plane and go. At this time, I couldn't actually go because I'm working, so I've got to pick my times. I lived in Thailand for a lot of years, but now it's just vacation. So, but I have to work around work. Michael Haynes, have you been to Udon? Yes, I have been to Udon. The one thing I noticed about Udon was the roads were very, very wide, and I believe that's from the Vietnam War era, something to do with runways and stuff, actually runways. I remember I took a flight once from Bangkok to Khon Kaen, but it went via Udon, and I've never been so frightened on an aircraft. It just looked, it's probably changed now, but when I got on this aircraft, I didn't really notice till I sat down, the engine started roaring up and they're hurtling down the runway. And I suddenly looked around and thought, blimey, this carpet's a bit threadbare. I looked at the armrests and they'd been, you know, the foam was almost coming out. I mean, it was an old plane. We got there though, obviously. Robert UK, evening, Peter, how things for you? Yeah, they're good. Got a beer. Right, Simon Kerry, do you planning on retiring to Thailand? Oh yeah, absolutely. Why would I want to UK? But if you're going to retire in the UK, in Thailand, don't make the mistake that some expats make. They retire too early with not enough funds, and they head down to Pattaya. And a lot of these guys, they end up in a room. They can't afford to go out, and they end up detesting people who go on vacation because they can see them splashing the cash about. And why not? You've worked hard all year. You go out there, you're a 2-week millionaire, they say, and yeah, you don't want to do that. I mean, if you're planning to retire in Thailand, make a really, really good plan. Yeah, I'd say if you'd never been there, you need to go on holiday a few times and feel it out. You can't just learn everything from YouTube. You need to go out there and go to 1 or 2 towns and cities and see what prices are like. Go into local Big C and your Tesco, Lotus, and just look at prices. I would say another 5 years for me. Hopefully, I'll live that long. Right, Alexander Depod, $3,000 a month is enough for decent living in Bangkok. So that's that's definitely enough. That's about, last time I looked, is about 90,000 baht. I think you meant US dollars, right? Not euros. If it's US dollars, that's about 90. It's about 90,000 baht. You can live pretty good on that. You can't live like a king, but you can live okay if you're careful. Genuine comments. Hi from Tony and Milton Keynes. Been following you from when you had just a few subs. Love the channel. Yeah, thanks for that. Well, when I started this channel, this is probably old news, but when I started this channel, I was actually in Hua Hin, and somebody said to me, you should have a YouTube channel, and I started making it. And believe it or not, when I left Thailand, I had 100 subscribers, and all the subscribers that I've got now have been gained from just from the UK. But somebody asked me the other day, said, why have you teamed up with Simon and made another YouTube channel? I'm still going to keep this one going for the stories. I mean, some people hate them and they write to me horrible comments and stuff. They all end the same, and you're okay, fine, I'm boring. There's not a gun to your head, is there? But the reason I've with Simon is because he's in Thailand and he's been ill this gout, believe it or not, so he wasn't able to get out and about. But we're planning to do it in such a way where he'll go out and make videos, and I'll kind of introduce them and end them, and it will be a joint thing. And then obviously eventually I'll go out to Thailand and we'll go out and do videos together. But what we won't do is walk up and down the soy saying, look at this bar closed, that one's closed. And yeah, that's not what we plan to do. Right. Wow. 109 people in the comments. That's great. Let's read a few more of your comments here. Roy Gold, have you ever stayed in Jomtien long term? Not long term, but I used to like Jomtien. When I lived in Pattaya for about 3 years, right down the end. I can't remember the name of the hotel. There's a small apartment building. It's just, where the Dolphin Roundabout is on the second road. Then you turn left and you come down. You hit the beach road, turn left, obviously, because you can't turn right. And then probably only a few hundred yards away, there was probably Soy 2 or Soy 1. I had a very small apartment there for about 3 years. I got bored in the end and I moved back up to Bangkok. But as far as Jomtien, your question, Jomtien is great because the great thing about Jomtien, it's a much nicer beach. Pattaya itself, main part of Pattaya, the beach is it's not very clean. It's a bit smelly with the drains. I've improved it a lot now. But Jomtien, Jomtien is more of a kind of a family area, and they've got some nice bars and stuff over there. So yeah, I mean, if you ever go, if you've not been before, make sure you jump on the back of a BART bus. It's about 15 minutes. I don't know what it costs now, probably about 30 baht or something like that. All right, who else we got in here now? Simsi, please set me up with a lady boy. Great. Ko Chang is great. That's from Alexandra. Sorry if I pronounced that right. But I keep 1267, Joe. I keep some 100 baht notes in the wallet. Yeah. The other thing that came up, which was quite interesting, sometimes if you go on there on vacation, obviously you got your holiday money. Have you ever had somebody have a go at you for tipping too much? And when I say tipping too much, if I go into a bar, it doesn't matter if I've had one drink or I've had 20 drinks in there. If I've had a waitress looking after me all night, what I generally do is I'll put 20 baht down on the pad. I'll put 20 baht on the pad because I know that's going into the bar tips that get shared with absolutely everybody, including the doorman. So no need to leave much in there. I leave 20 baht. But the actual waitress herself, I always put the 100 baht in her hand because their rule is when they give you the change, if you leave change like notes on the bill pad. You know, when they bring you the pad that opens up, if you leave that there, they've got to put that into the general tips for everybody. But if you get the girl's hand and you put the note into her hand, she's allowed to keep that. So what we were actually saying there was sometimes you get people who live in Pattaya and they'll tell you off because they say, look, you're spoiling it for all of us. So when they go around, they tip like 20 baht everywhere they go. But somebody like myself, I mean, I'm not rich, but I always, if I've had good service, I'll give 100 baht, sometimes 200 baht. If I've been in a bar all night in one bar, which is very unusual, but the waitress has looked after me really nicely, then yeah, you know, of course, I don't see nothing wrong with it. But what somebody was saying then is sometimes, you know, if you give more than 20 baht, somebody who lives in Pattaya, they tell you off and say, oh, look, you're ruining it for the rest of us. But, you know, hey, I mean, you know, if you don't like it, give them 100 baht. It's not, you know, not my problem. Right. Right, this one's hidden. I'm going to show it because it's okay. This is from Sim C. I've lost it. Pattaya is a dump. It's where all the scummy alcoholic tourists go. Now, I wouldn't agree with that, but I've approved your comment anyway. Got another one here too. Okay, from the London Chinese cabbie. I'm just going to approve that one. It doesn't. I don't have to. 99% of these they just come up automatically. But the odd one has to have approved if it's got a naughty word in it or something like that. I found that if you give a waitress 250 baht in a bar, I found that out when I gave. Okay, so Daryl says he gave a waitress 250 baht and he found out the same sort of thing. If you're wondering why I keep bending down here, it's where my heater is. It gets cold, then it gets hot. Yes, 200 baht is cool for great service. What's the other channel called? Right, it's called, had to think long and hard, it's called Thailand-Bound 2021. What I'm going to do, when we did the live channel on this channel last Saturday afternoon, and we had over 100 people in it, but we're planning for Simon and we're doing it on our new channel. And unfortunately, we didn't really advertise it properly. We got about 40 people in the chat, which was great. But what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to, you know, when I always upload a video on a Saturday, I'm going to actually upload a video that's 2 hours long. And all it says is live chat now with a, you know, you're able to click a link and go straight there. So hopefully you'll find it next week. Okay, so chuffed to bits that all you guys have joined me tonight. I wasn't expecting such a good response. Let's go back and look at some of the older comments that I might have skipped. Right. Hey, Peter, have you ever had any, this is from Dole. Hey, Peter, have you ever had any experience with Thai police? Have heard some horror stories. Yeah, I've got to be careful what I say because I plan to go back to Thailand. Okay, let me just give you an example of what can happen. And I've mentioned this in videos, so stuff I talk about I have mentioned in videos. Drugs. If you're into drugs, if you can't go to Thailand without staying away from drugs, don't go to Thailand, because if you get caught even with one joint, a little bit of cocaine, anything like that, you're going to end up in a real world of pain. And as far as the police go, let's just say it's setup. We'll use the word setup. It's quite a common practice to extract money, and I'll leave it at that. I think you're all intelligent enough to work that out. Right, Tom Curley, greetings from NYC, USA. Starting the process to arrange ASQ and continue on into Thailand for 5 to 6 weeks. You know, hoping for late spring time frame. Appreciate your channel information. Yeah, late spring. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Is it going to be late spring? Is it going to be summer? Are we going to still be talking about this in the winter? Okay, hi to Black Bolt. Peter, good show as always. The stories were on point. Thanks for that. Yeah. Mighty Whiteley, Thailand isn't near as good as it was 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. It depends, doesn't it? I mean, that's something else we were talking about today. It depends. It works a lot better now. I mean, you can get on the internet very easily everywhere. You couldn't in the old days. Transportation is great now. You've got the BTS, you've got the MRT. Yeah, I mean, it's different for sure. If you've been going there for 20, 30 years, you'll notice a lot of differences. It was a lot more quaint back then, if that makes sense. There wasn't as much money spent on the bars. You know, a lot of the bars in Nana Plaza, for instance, they're almost like strip clubs in New York, in America, California. They've had so much money spent into them. And just in case you're wondering how you know, I have been into a strip club in California, just market research, that's all it was. Right. Thanks, Damien. Appreciate that. Northern Lights, my highest tip was 15,000 baht, but it was very well deserved. I don't think we'll get into that one. No, I mean, but just back on the tips there. I mean, look, money shouldn't be a problem. If you've saved up to go on holiday, you know, there's this thing about 2-week millionaires. So what? You know, you've worked hard all week. You could be a postman. You put £50 a month by for your Thailand holiday. You go for 3 weeks and you're splashing the cash, you're having a real good time. Why not? You know, as long as you don't hurt anybody, why shouldn't you be able to do that? And there's a particular waitress in the Tilak bar. When I go, because I've been going in there for years, when I walk through the door and she sees me, it doesn't matter how busy it is. She knows every time I leave, I'm going to put a 100 baht note in her hand. She knows that, right? So when I walk into the Tilak bar, it doesn't matter if it's happy hour or it's really, really busy. When she sees me, even before I sit down, she comes over to me and she walks and she'll show me the seat and everything. And she'll get me a beer. And even if she's got 10 people waiting. And when I get down to that much beer, she'll come up and say, you're ready for another one. Now, because of this is what our class is good service. There's no way I would give her 20 baht. It would be an insult. I'll give her 100 baht. Sometimes I'll give her 200 baht. But, you know, that you're paying for service. You're saying thank you. You're showing your appreciation, aren't you? Okay. In UK, we can all forget about 2021 for traveling. Sorry, guy. Mr. Doom and Gloom. Thanks for cheering me up tonight. Right. Northern Lights. Tilak bar is my bar. Okay. What you mean? Literally, you own it, or you just like to go there? Well, I tell you, one thing I like about the Tilak bar. I mean, obviously, you know, when you're walking around Bangkok, it's real hot, isn't it? You get down to Cowboy, you're sweating. What I like about Tilak bar, it's really comfortable. You go in there, and the air conditioning works really well. You don't get hassled. People don't come over and hassle you. And the one thing I like about it is they have a really good happy hour. They'll do like a pint of draft, really cold, proper draft Heineken in a nice pint glass. And what's good about it, when the happy hour ends at 9 o'clock, they'll hold a few in for you. So you can actually say, you know, they'll come up to you a couple of minutes before 9, 5 to 9. And the waitress will say to you, look, you know, happy hour's finish in 5 minutes. You want another one? You can actually say, look, I'm going to pay for 3 now. Bring one over and keep the other 2. And they'll do it. They're happy to do it. I mean, they won't. If you took the piss and you said, hey, buy me 10, and you tried drinking till 1, then obviously that's different. But no, they'll keep 2 or 3 behind the bar for you. So even though happy hour's gone at 9, when you get, say, your second one after happy hour, it could be 9:30, and then the last one at 10 o'clock. So it's really good for that, and it's very reasonable. Go hopping. Hey, hi, thanks for joining us. When you retire in Thailand for devious, I can't read that. When you retire in Thailand in 5 years' time, will you sell up everything in the UK? Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because of my age, I don't know. I mean, I've been pondering this question because obviously if you're going to retire, the whole point of retiring is you're going to live permanently in another country. So why would you need anything here in the UK? But on the other hand, you know, if I got sick or there was an emergency, you know, I don't know. I think what I would probably do is I would buy a small 1-bedroom house and I would rent it out. That way I've got a little bit of additional income coming in. And then if I had to come back to the UK because I had health issues, I just got too old to be in Thailand. You know, I started getting memory loss or something. But, you know, you've got a boat hole, haven't you? If you've got a property, then, you know, so if I never use it, I'm not going to lose that because it'll produce rent, which is not taxable. If I don't live in the UK, I don't have to pay any tax on it. And rents are quite high at the moment. And the thing is, if I pop my clogs and, you know, I wasn't around anymore, then obviously my daughters would have it. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Don't sell up. You may need to come back. Just reading some of these. If you've just joined us, welcome. 106 in the stream now. Sham Wild Guy. Did you ever go to Dr. BJ's in Nana? It's closed now, but it was great. You'll have to guess that one. Nick Franco. If you like craft beers, hit Wizard Brewery in Pattaya. Okay. Life Reset Thailand. Happy hour at the Windmill Go is great. I haven't actually been I've been to the Windmill, but I haven't been there during happy hour. But then that's because in Pattaya, we used, when I lived there, the bars were literally open all night. We used to go out at, you know, what we used to do in Pattaya was we'd meet up about 7:30, have a real nice dinner, you know, in an English pub or something, or a nice Thai restaurant, go back to the hotel room to chill out a couple of hours, and when the food had come out, we'd hit the bars at sort of midnight, and we'd be out literally all night. Of course, it's 2 o'clock now, isn't it? Some of them stay up a little bit later till 3. Okay, Robert, UK. Peter, you can rent one of my places. Where's that? In Pattaya or Bangkok? Simon Curry, where would you retire to in Thailand? Oh, you haven't watched many of my videos, have you? Where else? David says, hey, Peter, Thailand, July 2022. No, that's very far off, isn't it? 2022 July. I mean, that's what we're only in February now, so March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, that's a year and 5 months. I don't think it's going to be that long. I might be wrong, and I'll be the first to put my hands up. Thanks, Damien. Right, Michael Hayes, me and my wife love your stories. Please keep them. Yeah, thanks, Michael. I get a bit of stick on the stories from, right, while the stories have come up, I'll just tell you a couple of things. If I get any real serious flack, normally they send me an email through my website, Thailand-Bound.com, and it's normally Western women who say, like, I'm a kind of a sex fiend and I'm encouraging sex tourism and all the rest of it. And the other comment I'll get on the stories, some people will write to me and they'll say, all your stories they all end the same, they're all boring. Well, they're not my stories. I'm not writing them. I'm only reading out. I'm not trying to justify. I'm just letting you know now we're here. I'm just, you know, people send me a story. I mean, I could change the ending and say, you know, they lived happily ever after, bought furry kittens, you know, had half a dozen children, and, you know, it was a great life. But that, unfortunately, real life isn't like that, is it? So, a lot of the time, especially with bar girls. Yeah, I've got comments on both screens. I'm just trying to see which are the easiest to read. Have a quick slurp on this. Wow, is it really 52 minutes? I thought I was going to be doing this for about 10 minutes if it was successful. I thought I'd give it a blast tonight, 10, 15 minutes, but it's been nearly an hour now. Right, here's another hell. What's this? Right. You Brits are well off. Doesn't feel too weird for you driving in Thailand as they drive on the left-hand side of the road. I get mind checked about reading both Thai signs and driving left. Yeah, I hear you. No name Gulliver was dead when I went. Hard Tulip. Hopefully the UK vaccine rollout will move to motorboats, to use a 1950s expression. They're doing really well in the UK at the moment. They've, I was saying, I listen to the news, you can never get away from it. But they've given out something like 14 to 15 million jabs already. That's really good. And some days they're getting 400,000 or 500,000 people a day done. I haven't had mine yet. Black Bolt, you have a nice niche. Please don't pay attention to the haters. No, I don't really. I mean, we're all human, aren't we? Sometimes if you get a comment and it's personal, it can hurt you a little bit, but you've got to kind of be bigger than that and get over it, can't you? The thing is, if you're reading your comments and you get 20 comments that say, oh, love the channel, great video, good stories today, it's nice. But if you get the one guy who writes on and say, you're a fat wanker and I don't know what you're even doing on YouTube, of course, you're only human, aren't you? You can't, and if you're not English, that word I used, the last one, it kind of means jerk. But, you know, it doesn't really get to me, but you think to yourself, well, what's he written that for, you know? And the other one that makes me laugh is when people tell me, right, you're doing this wrong, you should be doing it this way, you should be doing that way. And I'm thinking, you're not watching a paid subscription service. It's not Netflix, you know. Canada hasn't jabbed anybody. I don't know, what's it like in Canada? Is it the infectious rate, is it high or not too bad? 8:57 a.m. in Melbourne. Great to see you live. Hi, Wayne. 8:57 in the morning, so having breakfast maybe. Right, Sham, Wild Guy. Peter, when was the last time you were in Thailand? It's unbelievable. Even for me, when I think about it, I think, really, was it that long? It was not the October just gone. We're in February now, right? So October just gone was 3 months ago. The last time I was in Thailand, I left in October 2019. Was it? Yeah, 2019. Yeah, so I went in September. I went to Bangkok, Hua Hin, started my YouTube channel. The first lockdown came in. I thought, oh, this is crap, you know. So this was in we were approaching November now, and I honestly thought at that time, and not this November, just gone, the last November before that, over a year ago, I thought to myself, well, it's probably going to, the worst case scenario, it's going to be 3 months and I'll get back into Thailand. So I had to cut, you know, if I'd known it had been this long, if I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get back to Thailand for over a year, I don't think I'd have continued the channel. But I honestly thought that it would be 3 months max. So I did what everybody else did, 20 reasons to go to Thailand, 20 scams in Thailand, bar prices, all the normal stuff. Then I ran out of ideas, and a couple of guys sent me some stories, and I thought they went down really well. So I started asking, you guys sent me more and more, and the stories have kind of been received fairly okay. So that's why I've been able to keep the channel going. But I've got to the point now where, this is a long way of telling you when I last got to Thailand, I've got to the point now where I feel it's getting a little bit stale. And although I really thank you guys for keep telling me you like the stories, but you know, the reason I'm doing this thing with Simon now is we've got to do some different stuff. I can't do this for the next, you know, if it is another 2 years, I mean, you know, you're just going to get bored. And you know, let's see who else is with us this evening. Right, Leslie 533, I love your stories, keep them coming. Thank you. Canada is still no name. Canada is still locked down. Numbers are coming down. Vaccines scheduled for late summer fall. I tell you what, this is a nice beer. If you're in the UK and you haven't tried this, try it. It's really nice. 5%. I've only had one, so it hasn't got to me yet. Right, SimC. When do you love her? Okay. Robert, cheers. Thanks for that. Right, Roscoe 666. You should rename your channel Peter Pan because you never want to grow up. Well, I wouldn't say I never want to grow up, but I'm not gonna die yet. I'm not gonna be like a 61-year-old person who just stays home, does gardening, and is not adventurous. People have actually said that to me. They've said, "Don't you think it's about time you grew up and you stopped all this nonsense and settled down?" Settled down to what? You know, how many more years have I got? I'm 61, 10 years, 20 years if I'm really lucky. But how many years while I'm like I am now? I haven't got dementia. I'm fairly healthy. You know, yeah. If you want to call me Peter Pan, guilty as charged, no problem. Andy Essex, Rides for Kicks has a nicely balanced YouTube channel. Maybe a slight vacation on that would be successful for me. Yeah, Ride for Kicks. He's got a great voice, hasn't he? I've always thought he'd be good at doing, you know, reading out these Kindle books and things. Very relaxing voice. There's a lot of nice channels like when people write to me and say, "Oh, have you seen this CB Media? It's a massive channel in Thailand. A lot of people subscribe to it." And people say, "Have you seen this channel? It's really good." And you know, but there's a lot of channels that are also good. They might not have the numbers that a channel like that's got, but you know, there's lots and lots of good channels that you've got to like that person, haven't you? You've got to like. I really like Ed Sweeney's channel. Ed Sweeney on a Wednesday night does a live stream. He's a bit like myself. He's laid back, not too serious, and you know, I like that. I like Ride for Kids. There's quite a few I like. I'm not going to tell them all out now, but just because you don't have 200,000 subscribers doesn't mean your channel's not good. I watch a lot of channels out there that have got 20, 30,000 subscribers and less, and they're very, very good. It depends what you want to watch, doesn't it? No name. London, India is supposed to give some leading up to a big rollout. Okay, so yeah, India apparently is going to have a big rollout of the vaccine. Right, Chayapum. Whatever you think of your channel, with 70,500 subs, you must be doing something right. Yeah, I'd like to think so. Shamwell God, get busy living, or get busy living, or get busy dying. Now, where have I heard that before? Now, let me think. Shawshank Redemption, absolutely, great film, by the way. Chris Ford, what's your take on Thai-tastic? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not, you know, I'm certainly not going to criticize other YouTubers here. I mean, I'm not, you know, obviously I'm like you. Sometimes I watch a YouTube channel and I think he goes on a bit. It's not for me. It doesn't mean he's bad. It just means it's not for me. I know, I'm not going to name them because that would be out of order, but I know there's 2 channels I can think of the top of my head that are very good channels, but when I watch them, there's just something about the guy annoys me and I can't watch him. These 2 channels, I can't watch them, and there's nothing wrong with the channels. They're good channels, like I say, but it's just my personal. Somebody might come on here, listen to me spitting away there, and think, well, I can't stand this guy. It's just how it is, isn't it? It doesn't mean it's good or bad. Jeff, okay, that's hidden, that comment, by the way, but I can't really comment on that for what I've just said, but I have read it. Robert UK, India is okay. Some of these comments are a little bit edgy, you know. Ed Sweeney's a legend. Somebody's wrote here, yeah. I'm Michael Hayes. I'm the same age as you. You really, I mean, really, when you get to 60, I don't know if you're a fairly young guy watching, when you get to sort of 60, 61, your outlook on life isn't any different. The only problem is your body doesn't want to keep up with your brain. You still feel like a young man. You still want to do young man's things. But unfortunately, you can't stay up all night and party and go to work the next day. It just doesn't happen anymore. You know, I often take a snooze on the sofa in the afternoon. It's just old age. Okay, so let me just... bear with me a second. I'm just trying to master 2 screens here. Okay. Yeah, we're 130 in the chat now. It was on 106 for a real long time, about half an hour, and I thought, well, that can't be right. 130, yeah, okay. So if you've just joined us this evening, just joined me. Thanks for joining in the chat. And it's unscheduled. It's amateurish. It's green screen. We're going to try and get that sorted out next time. I might do another one next week. Actually, we'll see how it goes. Wow, over an hour now. Barack Obama, will you be leaving your live? Will you be leaving your live streams up? Yeah, I think you. Yeah, you don't have to upload them. I think when you've done a live stream, I think YouTube just automatically leaves it up, don't they? They do on the other channel anyway. If you haven't been to our new channel, guys, I'll send you a link in the week, but it's called Thailand-Bound 2021. You'll see, when you get to it, you'll see Simon on the right of the top, I'm on the left. Please try and subscribe to it, because these live streams with Simon and I, they're much more interesting than me on my own, because Simon's in Thailand and you can ask him, you know, Simon's a real down-to-earth guy if you don't know him, but he, you know, you can ask him what's going on. So obviously I'm in the UK, Thailand's there. Okay, Roscoe 666. I cannot. Yeah, okay. I hear you. I can't read that, unfortunately. Colin Smith. Okay, so I'm getting quite a few comments of people naming channels, saying this guy's annoying, that guy's annoying, and I've got those comments and I'm reading them, and everybody else can read them, but I can't. Obviously, it'd be disrespectful for me to, you know, whatever you think of them or whatever I think. I don't think we should go down that route of, you know, saying who we don't like, as it were. Jeff Ives, I like the channels that don't try to make themselves to be something they aren't. Be natural and honest, it's the best way. Yeah, I hear what you're saying on that one. There's a few English guys. I mean, I'm not going to name anybody, like I just said, but you can tell when somebody's trying too hard. You know, they'll watch a lot of YouTube videos, you know, how to become a successful YouTuber. They do click thumbnails to get you to click them. And, you know, if an American does a YouTube and they're really hyper, it's natural for Americans to be like that. When an American makes a video and he comes on and he's like, hi guys, I won't do the accent, but you know, hands in the air and they're really overexcited. It kind of goes with the American culture, doesn't it? They're naturally like that. But you see some British guys, they try to copy that style, and it just doesn't work, does it? You know, we're different cultures. It doesn't work. Not in my eyes, it doesn't work. Just be yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Taxi to Lyle. Can't read that one out, unfortunately. Northern Lights, what are your future plans? Same as everybody else, really. Work, try and put money in the bank, go back to Thailand when I can, when it's all back to normal, as normal as Thailand can be. And yeah. Hard Tulip, why don't they have seagulls in Pattaya? I've never thought about that one, really. They don't, do they? When you go to every UK town, there's seagulls. You've got to cover your chips because they come down and grab your chips, don't they? But no, I don't know. Do you know the answer to it? Does anybody know the answer? Why there's no seagulls in Pattaya? Okay. I'm just reading because I'm reading through some of these comments here. Some I can't read out, unfortunately. Right, somebody, I don't know that channel, but somebody said one of the channels has lost over 100 subs in the last 2 months. Yeah, I think I probably have. It happens. You know what happens is people will come along to it. I've done it myself on channels. I won't name them again, but what happens? A good example: someone will come along to your channel. They'll watch one of your videos. Say they watch one of my stories, and I think, oh, I really enjoyed that. That's great. I'm gonna subscribe to this guy. And then they'll watch your stories for maybe a couple of months, and they think, oh, I'm getting bored of these, and they unsubscribe. It's not. You haven't done anything wrong. It's natural. I subscribe to channels, think this is great. And then I get bored and I think, oh, I don't want to watch his videos anymore. And then sometimes I come back again. So it doesn't mean, if you've got a channel and somebody unsubscribes, everybody gets, people unsubscribe from their channel. Alex Arthur, no such bird as seagulls. Plenty of birds in Pattaya though, aren't they? Not seagulls. The sea eagles, Jeff says the sea eagles eat them all. And Nomad over says, I'd say all those seagulls in Pattaya have ended up on the barbecue. You never know. They eat seagulls there. Now, is this a joke or they really do eat seagulls? First question that comes to mind is, how do they catch them? Yeah, there's a few comments coming up about the vaccinations or whatever. I don't really want to get into that too much because it's all over the news 24/7. I can't offer you any information you haven't already heard. So let's talk about the nice things in Thailand. Cheer ourselves up a bit. It's a Saturday night. There's nothing very interesting on the TV except reruns, and I'm just getting so fed up of sitting in. I will have to get up and get another beer soon, but I'm not going to eat pork pies like our good friend. You know who I'm talking about. Right. Robster, how long can you stay in Thailand before you need to leave or renew your visa? So all this stuff that's going on now, normally what you could do, you could go there on a 30, depending on what country you come from. Most countries, you could go in on a 30 days. You don't even have to pre-get the visa. So you'd have to check with your country. Some countries you do. But I'll give you my own example. So they don't even know I'm coming. I get on a plane, I land in Thailand, I go up to the immigration, bang, 30 days, no application, nothing, goes straight in my passport. If I want to stay another 30 days, legally I can go to the immigration and they'll give me another 30 days. It costs, I think it's 1,900 baht. When I was in Hua Hin, they used to do it in the Blue Port shopping mall, which was very convenient because in Bangkok, the immigration is a zoo. It's just so busy. But in answer to your question, 30 days, then you can renew for 30 days. That's a legal way to do it. There are, there's other ways people cross borders. They pay agents. There's lots of other ways, but that's the way you're supposed to do it. Right, Aussie 411. Any good places in Chiang Mai? Never been there. Chiang Mai is nice. It's the Thais up there have got a lighter skin. It's surrounded by the mountains. Very fresh air. It's not like Bangkok, totally polluted. There's a big IT crowd in Chiang Mai. You'll find a bigger proportion of young people, people who do drop shipping, people who have very successful YouTube channels, people who design websites for a living. A lot of them are based. They have a big digital nomads, I think they call them. I'm a dinosaur, but you know what I'm talking about, IT people, and there's a lot of them based in Chiang Mai. So because of that, there's a lot of good bars everywhere you go in Thailand. Even if you don't find a bar, there's always a 7-Eleven. What do you think about booking a trip to Thailand in October? That's from DJ Werner. Well, what are we now? February. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? But nobody's got the answer. But that's a long way off. Yeah, London Chinese cabbie, lots of digital nomads in Chiang Mai. That's what. Yeah, exactly. Right, Simon Kerry, have you been to Buri Ram before? I haven't, but I've had an invite from Damien Simmons, and he's invited me up there, and I am going to take him up on his offer. I might go up with Simon, and obviously we can do some filming up there and stay in a local hotel and see what it's all about. Right, I don't know how much longer we'll be on this. 1 hour, 10 minutes now. It's gone quite well, hasn't it, really? Let me just refresh this screen over here. Actually, what I'm going to do, because I'm at home tomorrow, so I'm going to upload I'm going to make a video tomorrow, but it's not a story. I'm just going to upload it, and it's going to have all the details about the new channel, the live stream, and everything. So if you're one of those guys that I think I didn't even know you had a new channel, and who's Simon? When you get the video notification tomorrow, then it will have all the details in there. And it's great, the live stream with Simon, because, you know, as I say, Simon's in Thailand. Andrew, can you recommend a travel agent airline to book tickets when we're allowed to travel? I mean, who do I book my tickets with? I always, any of the online travel sites. I mean, I can't remember I booked mine with now because it's been over a year. I don't book the hotels through there, but yeah, any of those, you know, Skyscanner or Agoda, I think I use any of them. Like SimC, Philippines is great, but the food sucks. I mentioned this afternoon because somebody asked me if I'd been to the Philippines and what did I find the biggest difference, and that's what I said. I didn't quite put it as harshly as that. What I said was I found that food in Thailand was more tastier than the Philippines, the local food, that is. Right, Michael Hose, do you fly direct with Thai Airs? I have flown with Thai Airs. I've got nothing against them, but I normally fly with Eva Airlines. They do quite a good service out of Heathrow. You can. I always go direct. It's about £100 more. If you're a young guy and you're going out on a budget and you want to save every penny you've got so that when you hit the bars in Pattaya, you've got the maximum amount of money possible, then you can stop off in the Middle East. But I'm too long in the tooth now because you have to stop off in somewhere like Dubai. I've heard sometimes up to 20 hours, you know, maybe 10 hours. I don't know. But, you know, at my age, it's bad enough now for me from door to door, from when I leave my house, drive to Heathrow, park the car up, check in, all the rest of it. It's a 12-hour flight direct. It takes me about 18 hours before I get into the hotel and about 20 minutes more to get down to Nana in the daytime. Right. Who else we got in here tonight? Right. Taxi Thailand. What was the cost of return flights when you first used to go to Thailand? Well, don't forget, I used to live out there, so I didn't really do... When I first went out to Thailand, I was working for a big hotel group, a big chain. And so when I went out it was Southeast Asia. When I went out to the Far East, it wasn't that I went out to Thailand and stayed there for 30 years. I mean, I worked in Indonesia. I worked in South Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, a lot of countries in the Far East. So what had happened is they'd place me in a hotel for a year. I'd do that year, and then they'd send me somewhere else. But in the end, the last job I had in Thailand with a hotel chain was in Khon Kaen. I was part of the opening team in a hotel called the Sofitel in Khon Kaen. I believe it's been rebranded now, called the Portman Hotel. I was part of the team that opened that, and then I was promoted and they sent me to a place called Yogyakarta in Indonesia. And I didn't like look, Indonesia's a great country, nothing against Indonesia, but comparing it to Thailand and what suits me, it didn't. I preferred Thailand, and at that time I went and made a little business in Siam Square, Soy 2, with Simon. We had a little bakery, come cafe. We didn't get rich from it, but it was, you know, it got us going, as it were. Right. Andrea Remus, do you prefer Chang or Singer? I don't like Singer. I don't know what it is. It's got a funny taste for me. I'm not knocking it, but I just don't like Singer beer. Chang beer is nice, but it's very, very strong. It can hit you. I generally prefer, if I buy it from 7-Eleven, I like Leo. That's my preferred beer. If I'm out in the bars, then it's Heineken, and I do like to drink shorts as well. But if I drink shorts from the start, I won't last all night. And if I drink beer all night, then I get bloated. So, yeah, Leo or Heineken in the bars. Right, who else have we got joined us? Anybody new? Say hello to them. Thank you, Hard Tulip. Right, 1 hour, 14 minutes on this now. Let me just refresh this again. Right, what do you want to talk about now? Right, Taxi to Lao. I've stayed in the Pullman in Khon Kaen. Beautiful, beautiful hotel. I mean, a lot of money spent on it. Yeah, I was there probably 6 to 8 months before it actually opened. We were staying in a small Thai hotel, really simple hotel. And then we were moved into the Khon Kaen. I mean, a nice big room, real luxury lifestyle, lovely. Right, Joe Bingham, when you are going back to Thailand, please take me back with you. I've got a big suitcase. I'll pop you in there. Right, Adrian Smith, do you find some of the Thai beers quite gassy? Yeah, I mean, Singer I find quite gassy. That's one of the reasons I'm not too keen on it. It's not saying there's anything wrong with Singer, it's just personal choice. Pullman is a good brand. Taxi is the best. Just reading some of your comments now. Aussie 41, you're lucky. My flight time is 22 to 23 hours from Miami to Qatar. Yeah, God, that must be awful. 23 hours. I once flew from Bangkok to Las Vegas, and that was a long haul. We had to stop off at Japan. You had no choice, Tokyo, and then on to. Did we go to California? Yeah, well, I think we went to California because we rented a car and then drove with me and some mates. We drove a long time ago. It was when the movie Casino came out with Robert De Niro, and we'd watched that and we said, "Let's go!" Just on the spur of the moment. Great, really good. SimC, I stay in Ben Newton type accommodation, 500 baht a month. A month? Wow. Has it got a roof on it? Mayor Richard, what part of England do you live in? Have you ever had a run-in with the Beatles or any rock stars? No, Beatles a bit before my time. Great band, but I'm not that old. Which part of England do I live? Well, my mother lives in it's London, basically. I was born in Highgate in London, and my mother lives in Haringey, which is a shithole, basically. But I don't live there anymore. I've moved out of London because you get more property for your money. I live about 70 miles north of London now. Oh, I'm definitely going to show that comment. Right, from Robert UK. Right, Damien Simmons, Peter, you're welcome to come and visit me in Buriram. Accommodation is ready anytime. Would be lovely to have the visit. Yeah, I mean it, Damien. I will definitely take you up on your offer. I'll come up there, but don't think I'm being rude. Although I wouldn't stay in your house. I'm sure your family are very, very welcoming. I'm sure it's clean and the food will be great. But the thing is, I like my space. So I often have friends say, "Oh, you can come and stay with us." But I don't like to do that because although they're very welcoming and they're very friendly, you know, you get up in the morning, you got to make sure you dress before you can use the bathroom. I'm like a washed up sperm whale, you know, in the morning. When I get up, I'm naked. I want to just be able to walk around and, you know, in a hotel room, you can do that, can't you? So I do thank you for your invitation. I will come, but I will book into a small hotel. No name, done the Vegas to LA trek. Yeah, about 4 hours as I'm through the Death Valley Desert, wasn't it? Hard Tulip, love London. Expensive now. Right, what hotel, who's this? Devious. I can't pronounce the last bit. Oh, Devious Me UK. I thought Me UK was one word. Okay, what hotel do you stay in near Nana? I keep saying this. I made a video about it. They keep changing the name of it. It's right at the very end of Soi 4. So you know where Nana is. You go right down the far end. You got the tobacco factory. That's the last kind of complex on the end. The last building on the left, it used to be called the Nana Thai Mansions. I believe it's called the Nana Thai Suites. It's quite expensive now and it's really old and they've started renovating rooms. And I wouldn't say it's the best deal. You can get better now. But the thing is, I've been staying there forever and a day. The staff are like my friends. I know it's a cliche, but it really is a home from home. And I've tried a couple of others and I just didn't feel as settled. So when I go to Bangkok, I like to stay in that hotel. I'll probably pay double to what I could get. But the rooms are huge. It used to be an apartment building. So, I mean, they're literally huge. Full-size fridge, three-piece suite in there, everything. Right, Kevin Flanagan. I will be staying in Hua Hin for 6 months a year. I need recommendations on great long stays. Well, the thing is, Kevin, if you're in Hua Hin, there's a lot of choice. What I'd say is don't book anything for 6 months if you've never been there before. What I'd say is book somewhere for a month or 2 weeks even, you know, cheap hotel. And then when you get there, you can rent. It's quite safe to ride a motorbike there if you stay off the highway. So what I do, I like to stay in Soi 94 off the Pegasin Highway. You can rent something like a Honda Click for about 150 baht a day, which is nothing really. And then what you can do, you just ride round, stay off the highway because it is a bit dangerous. But you just ride around. There's lots of apartment buildings, and they'll have signs outside, room to rent or accommodation to rent. And you know, a lot of people make the mistake. They book it online and they think, well, I've got my accommodation for 6 months. They feel like they're just they don't want to get caught out and they won't take the risk, and you won't get caught out. It's not like, what's the worst that could happen? You don't find an apartment, you stay in the hotel for 6 months. You know, hotel is like 500, 600 baht a night in Hua Hin. Do that. Just go for a couple of weeks a month, rent a small motorbike, go around, look at the apartments. You can actually physically go in, have a look at them. The problem is on sites like Agoda, when they take the pictures, they're very deceiving because they dress that room. It's their best room in the house. They put the best laundry on the bed. You know, it's inspected by the housekeeper, the manager, the general manager, and then they take the photographs and they give it all that. Your best off is just go and look with your own eyes, then you can see what you're really getting for your money. Guys, will you excuse me for 2 minutes? Talk amongst yourselves. Get another beer. $10.66, 5%. Put the mic on, wouldn't it? Right, where are we? What we got? Thank you, Liam. No, Black Boat. I did say I won't be bringing any pork pies on. We know who we're talking about. Our good friend Ed Sweeney. About this time or a little bit later, he normally ends with a plate of pork pies, pickled onions, and no, I can't eat late at night. A few beers will do me, and it's not that late, is it? No. A lot of people are coming out with the pork pie lines now. He's sneaking a quick pork pie, says Taxi to Lao. No, I'm not. I'm definitely not. I don't like pork pies, actually. I find them a little bit fatty. Right. Toyman Flyer, 1,100. About how much US do you feel you need for 2 weeks stay? Are we talking about Hua Hin or Bangkok? Again, it's that same old question, is it? How much do you need? It depends on what you want to do when you're there. If you're just going to work on a laptop, go out for meals and have the occasional drink in a quiet bar, then 2 weeks. Well, look, okay, let's say like this. When I go to Thailand, doesn't matter if I'm in Bangkok, Pattaya or Hua Hin, if I go for, say, 2 weeks, I know it might sound a lot to some people, not too much to others, but I generally spend between £2,000 and £3,000. But I'm out drinking every night in the expensive kind of bars. I don't look at prices on menus because I want to have a good time, right? I don't want to go out there and check the prices on every item on the meal. So you could get by on £1,200, £1,500 if you're really careful. But I want to have a good time when I'm out there. I don't want to check prices. I don't blow it silly, but I like to tip if I feel like it. I don't like to stay in real crappy hotels these days. I'll stay in budget hotels, but not really horrible ones. Okay, Toyman Fly, Bangkok. Yeah, I mean, are you going to go out every night? If you go out to the bars every night like Nana, let's say a couple of grand. I know it sounds excessive for 2 weeks, but don't forget, if you don't spend it, you can always take it back, can't you? The one thing I'd say to you, if you've never been to Thailand before, be really careful with the banknotes you take out there, because if you've got a little tear or somebody's written on that banknote or it's just a little bit scruffy, they won't accept it. Honestly, they're really fussy about that. When you exchange notes, they have to be like really nothing on them, no rips, no tears, no writing, nothing. Then they'll accept them. They'll accept them. I've had notes turned down, and it gets to the point where they say, "Well, I can't spend that one. I can't spend," and you start to run a bit short. And the higher denomination you change, the better exchange rate you get wherever you go. Sim C says £3,000. That would last Ben Newton half a month. Right, Taxi to Lao, recommend anyone to get out to the provinces. It's cheap, fewer tourists, and people are great. Yeah, absolutely. I always feel sorry for people when I used to. I mean, I like going around the bars. I like Pattaya and everything, but I used to feel sorry for these guys who say. I used to meet them in bars, and they'd say, especially in Pattaya, they'd say, "Oh, I'm an old hand. I've been coming out here for 10 years. I know Thailand like the back of my hand." And I say, "Oh, where have you been then?" They say, "Well, I always come to Pattaya." And I said, "Well, What, just, yeah, like Pattaya. And, they haven't been anywhere else. But, that, Pattaya is not Thailand, is it? Michael Hayes, you need 2K a week. Yeah, well, I wouldn't disagree with that. If you're going out there to have a really good time, 2K a week, that's reasonable. Of course, we're not talking about retiring out there. Retiring and living a normal kind of lifestyle out there, you can live on a lot less because you're not partying. But if you're going out there on vacation, yeah, I agree with that. Right, Robster Freedom Pips, it is best to go out with Bart or withdraw from an ATM over there. The one thing I'd say about the ATMs, I mentioned this afternoon again, they charge, I think it's 100. If anybody can tell me, let me know. But you can use your foreign debit card on an ATM in Thailand. That's not a problem. But it's expensive for each transaction. Every time you withdraw money from an ATM, they charge around 200 baht, maybe 290. It might be 150. I don't know, but it's not cheap. And whether you take 500 baht out or 20,000 baht out, that's a static price. So if you find yourself that you have to take money out of an ATM in Thailand, take the maximum amount. I think Bangkok Bank allows you to take up to 30,000 baht in one transaction, and the rest of the banks, it might have changed now, but they used to be 20,000. So if you find you've got to take out money, take at least 10,000 baht. Otherwise, you don't want to be taking out, 2,000 baht, and then the next night you take out, because them charges, they add up. They're not cheap. Chaya permit, 220 baht. Yeah, so 220 baht in UK money at 40 baht a pound. You're talking, it's over a fiver, isn't it? It's probably about £5.50. Well, you imagine if you do that 10 times, you're sort of racking the charges up. Yeah, there's a couple of people confirming it's 220 now. Daryl's, when I took money out of an ATM in the bank, it's 200 baht. So, okay, it might vary from place to place, but most people are sort of saying 220, 200. Right, let's see who else has joined us. Let me just refresh this. I keep doing this because it's my first stream. And people have been on at me for about 8 months to do this. I finally got around to doing it. 132 people in the stream now. Right, Life Reset Thailand. My bank reserves the charge. Life Reset charge. Life Reset refunds. Okay. Michael Hayes, our 20s will be good. I don't know. That's a little bit sarcastic there because they haven't got any money. They, the bars and stuff. Okay, I can't pronounce this name. I don't want to insult you, so I'll just read your comment out. It says, there is an incredible hotel in Pattaya owned by a very chic English gentleman. It is called Penthouse Hotel. Decoration and concept is an experience. Is that the one on Soy Diana? Like on the corner? I might be wrong. Adrian Smith, Aral used to have a good set of pool tables, bars, and adjoining nightclub near the Gypsy Market by the pier. That was back in 2013. One thing about Hua Hin, if you visit Hua Hin, it's a big, big pool and golfing town. A lot of nice golf courses around Hua Hin, and pool is taken really serious. Everybody in Hua Hin plays pool. There's leagues, tournaments. It's a big deal in Hua Hin. If you're into pool, Hua Hin is for you. Michael Hayes, it costs the same to live there as here. If you think that way, you can't get into trouble. So you're obviously responding to somebody else's comment now. Didn't see that. Jumped in Tani Hotel in Pattaya is superb, says David. Yeah, maybe think about that one, Damien. Right, Sean Lane. First night of a 3-week trip to Thailand I did a few years ago. I spent 40k baht on a dinner for two at the restaurant in Labul. Yeah, I can't pronounce it. I know exactly what you mean. State Tower, paid with credit card as I only had 40k cash. Expensive dinner. Penthouse Hotel is in Boys Town. Well, I wouldn't know. I've never been inside Boys Town. If that's where you like to hang out, fair enough. Right. Hey, Ed's on. So Ed Sweeney, he says, good time for a live stream. Yeah, I mean, if you've just joined, and it's not planned. Look, you can see this terrible backdrop behind me here. It's green screen. I haven't planned it very well. And I wasn't sure if anybody had actually come on to the chat. I just, I think I watched one of your early chats. It was very, very similar. I was kind of playing about with the camera and bits and pieces, and I had it on private, and I thought, shall I, shan't I? Shall I let it go live? A little bit nervous. Got a little bit of Dutch courage here. And I let it go live, and there was about one person in the chat, and I think that was me. And eventually people started coming in, and I'm a little bit more relaxed now. But it's quite a good vehicle to get people's feedback. So welcome to you, Ed. I love your channel. If you haven't been to Ed, if you haven't watched Ed's channel, he live streams 10 o'clock Wednesdays, and a lot of people have been asking me, Ed, if I'm going to be bringing out pork pies. No, I'm not going to be bringing out pork pies, but I will have a beer. 1.5 hours on the live stream now. Not bad. I'm going to have to wrap it up soon, aren't I? Okay, I'll read a few more comments out before we go. Stephen, green screen is green. Yeah, I had noticed. Eddie Van Halen. Right. 8 Lucky 8, good day from Australia. No name, Boys Town. Laugh out loud. Not that there's anything wrong with it. No, I wasn't criticizing. If you like to go to Boys Town in Pattaya, nobody's criticizing you. You know, you're over 18. We all do what we want to do. It's just I haven't been in there myself. Okay, Liam WP, Peter, Ed Sweeney, and Jeff Carter, the governors. Fair enough. So 131 in the stream now. Ed says Kronenberg snap. That's what I'm drinking right now. I thought you were into your speckled hen and your real ales and stuff. Whenever I watch your live streams, you always seem to drink that speckled hen. Although you did have something different. I can't remember what it was actually. It might have been Kronenberg, was it? But this is a nice beer. It's really smooth. If you haven't tried this, you try it. 5%. This you can get it in a pint as well. I don't work for Kronenberg. I'm not on any commissions, but it's just a real smooth beer. I've always drank it, and I'm not going to hit this while I'm on the stream, but I'll show you what I've got tucked away, and I won't have much. But look at this, look. Oh yes, a little bit of the nectar amber. Have that later. All right. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate that. Andy Davey 123. Eddie's into anything. Laugh out loud. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. Right, who else we got in here? Anybody I haven't said hello to? Seamus, great stuff, Peter. You never told us about this live stream. Seamus, I didn't know it was coming on, mate. Not until probably 10 seconds. When I started it, I was just saying, when I started it, it was on private, and I was kind of, because I was nervous. I've never done one before on my own. And I was, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? I thought, oh, heck, jump in. We've deep end. But I did one with Simon on our new channel this afternoon, 2.5 hours. And the thing is, when you do a live stream with another person, it's actually a lot easier, because you don't have to constantly think what to say, and constantly you need to go up to the toilet or something or get a beer, then the other person can help you out. That way it's actually a lot easier with two people. But Simon's in Thailand anyway, so if you haven't watched that live stream, that's every Saturday, 12 o'clock lunchtime, 12 noon UK time, and 7 p.m. Thai time. So Simon will be out making videos. Right, Nick Frankel, Stella is skunked trash. You've got a fan club here, Edward. Ed, Stephen Smart, Edward is a legend. Right, Alexander Dupont, nothing beats beer and vodka. What, not mixed together, surely? You mean have a vodka and a beer chaser, or the other way around? High five. You've got to get a squeaky door to live stream. That's Ed again when he goes for his pork pies. Sean Lane, used to drink Kronenberg when I was a teenager. Been donkey's years since I last had one. Try it, mate. It's really nice. Really nice. Every time somebody mentions it, it's a good excuse to have another sip, isn't it? Okay, Simon Millwall, well done, mate. It's going really well. Thanks. Apart from the green screen, right? I'm really going to try my hardest to get a nice. I might even put a scene from Pattaya, with the girls on the bar stools and stuff. Maybe try something like that. Andy Booth, I'm pretty sure Simon is back in the UK. No, not that Simon. Simon, my mate. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Simon Lander Smiles. He is back in the UK. I believe he had a live stream last Sunday. I'm talking about Simon, my friend. We've started a new YouTube channel called Thailand-Bound 2021. We'll drop the 2021 eventually. But the reason I started it, Ed will tell you this, and it's quite difficult to keep a channel going when you're in the UK. Ed's been doing his live streams every Wednesday for a long time now, just to keep in touch with everybody. I went in a different direction. I read out you know, people sent me their stories and I read them out. A lot of work to do that, but it's kept me going. I don't think I'll be doing a weekly. I might do, who knows? I might do a live stream. But the reason I've teamed up with Simon is because the Simon I'm talking about, my friend, he's based in Thailand. He lives in Thailand. He's got a factory there, and he's got his Thai wife and his kids and all the rest of it. So I thought if Simon and me did a channel together, he'll go out and make videos in Thailand. He'll send me the raw data, and I'll introduce them and end them, and he'll be in the middle, sort of thing. So hopefully, you know, we can do a bit more. And I've told him, whatever you do, don't walk up and down every Soy and Pattaya filming bars that used to be there and they're not there, because people have said to me, don't do it, because there's a lot of videos like that. Okay. Andy Boo, sorry, mate, mixing up my Simons. Well, you'll see him if you go to the new. There's a live stream up there from his afternoon. He went for 2.5 hours this afternoon. Right, Alexander Dupont, no name. So you had those weirdly cheap 40% alcohol stuff in China. You're quite brave if you tried Red Star. What did I drink in China? I was in China for a while. It wasn't Red Star. It's a green tin. If anybody's been in China, they can remember. Oh God, I hate that. You know, when it's on the tip of your tongue. I can't remember what it's called. If you tell me, I'll be able to tell you what it was. But I remember the tin was green, white writing. Never mind. Poloska. That's not a bad beer, actually. I've had that before. That's 5%. It's cheap. I won't read that one out from Poloska. Right, Taxi to Lao. Is this a regular live stream, Peter? I don't know. It's going okay at the moment. I do a 2-hour live stream with Simon in the afternoon. I don't know if I can keep it up, but we'll see. At the moment, I've got nothing to do with this, what's going on at the moment. So it's better than watching TV. Even I'd rather do this than watch TV. Right, let me just refresh that page over there. It's incredible how long it's gone on for. I didn't realize, like when I watch Ed's live streams, you know, you think, I used to watch it and think, well, how can he keep talking for so long? Think of things to say, but the time just flies by, you know, because you're answering people. Mazaq, hi Peter, this is a nice surprise. Unfortunately missed the 12 o'clock stream with Simon earlier, but I would look forward to listening at work. So if you've just joined the channel, what I'm going to do, we didn't advertise it too well, so what I'm going to do, because I prepared a thumbnail, and the idea of that was I was going to upload it and it was going to say live stream, and now click this link to go to the channel, but of course it's not a video, it was a thumbnail and it was the wrong format. So and that was 2 minutes before or 5 minutes before the live stream was due. So what I've done now, I've got that same thumbnail and I've made it into a 2-hour video. Very boring. But anyway, next Saturday, after I've uploaded a relationship story, I'll send that up as a video, and what will happen is you guys will get you'll get the notification, you know, that I've uploaded a video, and the link that I put underneath it, you don't have to click it, go to the channel, then subscribe. As soon as you click it, you'll automatically subscribe. It'll bring up a little box saying, you know, do you want to approve this? Put the heater back on, it's getting cold again. Right, who else we got in the chat? No name, like the flow of this, Peter. Thanks, cheers. By the way, guys, thanks for all your compliments. I haven't had any trolls yet. That's quite unusual, but thanks to all of you. A lot of people asking if I'll be doing the streams next weekend. Yeah, well, let's see. I have no promises at the moment. I mean, one of the reasons I decided to do this is because if you watch the other stream with Simon, because Simon's married to a Thai and he's got his family out there, he doesn't really want to talk about venues like Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy and what goes on there. Whereas my channel, I don't mind, you know. So, I mean, if you want to talk about the bars, prices, girls, that sort of thing, as long as you're not swearing or using really, you know, really bad language, you can talk about anything you want to. I don't mind talking about that, and we have touched on some of them bits and pieces tonight. What time is it in the UK now, please? Somebody's answered that already. 22:41. Thanks, Virgo. Jeff Eyes, if you get the trolls, then you know you're a YouTube success. I've had them. I've had lots of them. You see, the problem is when you've got a channel and you make videos about bar girls, and go-go dancers and guys, even though they're not about me, you get targeted by certain people. I had the worst one I've ever had. I said I wouldn't talk about this anymore because I did a series of videos in the early days called something like 20 worst comments left on my channel. A couple of people wrote to me and said, oh, we don't want to hear this, it's negative. But a lot of other people wrote to me and said, oh, you should keep making them, you're trying to please everybody. But the worst one I ever had troll-wise, I had a guy, he hated either me or my channel. I don't know, maybe he was religious or something. Really, he just didn't like what I was talking about. And this guy was so obsessed with trying to harm me that what he did, he actually duplicated my Thailand-Bound channel. I hope I'm not giving anybody any ideas here, but he actually duplicated it. And what he started doing, he started leaving, when people were writing comments, he was writing comments under their comments. So when you read them, it looked like it was me answering them comments. So somebody would write something like, could you tell how much did it cost to get a taxi from the airport? And this guy would go in with my logo, so it looked like me, and he'd say, haven't got a clue, but if it's lady boys you want to know about, I'm your man. And stuff like this, you know, and the only way I could get rid of it, I basically complained to YouTube a few times. They wiped the floor with him. But the way I got rid of all the comments, I just changed the logo. Then his old logo was still there. I just deleted the lot. But yeah, you've got to be careful. Some people there's some nutters out there. There really is, you know, and they talk about free speech and all the rest of it. But when you're in a public forum, you are going to get people who don't like what you're doing. And this is a subject that's a little bit controversial, isn't it? For some people, if somebody stumbles upon one of my videos by accident, if they type in, you know, nice scenery in Thailand and they get a story about a bar girl ripping some guy off, then, you know, they might not be too happy about it. But, you know, I'm not going to let them dictate to me, but they are out there. Okay, we'll read a few more of these comments and I think I'm going to wrap it up. It's, it's hour and 45 now. Damien Simmons, we're all troll free here at the moment, Damien, at the moment. Right, Life Reset Thailand. Pete, my mate, finally convinced me to go to Thailand in 2019 and now I'm hooked. I went again 2 months. I've lost you. Where are you? I went again 2 months ago. And later was booked for May 2020. Yeah. Adrian Smith. If you want a wild night out, go to the bars along the same road as Nana Plaza and then hook up with a group of Thai women and persuade them to take you to one of the Thai nightclubs anyway from the tourists. Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different scene. When I was younger, I used to go to Thai nightclubs. I mean, I'm going back now to when I was sort of 30, 31. But I even back then when I was young, I used to find them too loud. You know, I mean, a typical Thai nightclub has a live band at full volume and, you know, they'll order, even the young girls. That's another thing that amazed me. You know, in the UK, if girls go out to I was going to say disco, that's such a dated word. If they go out to a club, they'll order a vodka Coke or in a glass, something like that. But in Thailand, they'll order a bottle of Black Label, a whole bottle of Black Label, and have it on the table. I'm not talking about guys of my age. I'm talking about, you know, groups of young girls. They can be 18, 19, and they have a bottle of Black, and they knock it back. You know, Thai girls, you know, they don't ever challenge a Thai girl to a drinking competition because you'll end up under the table, and her and her friends will be laughing at you because they're big drinkers. Okay, just reading some of your comments. Right, Jeff, it's amazing that most of the trolls do it because in reality they would like to do it themselves. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, I said earlier, some of these guys who live in Pattaya, they retired too early with not enough money and they hate tourists because they watch them out having a good time and, you know, they just grow to hate them. It's just a theory, but these people you see on the Thai Visa website and people who attack people on Facebook. I mean, I've seen people leave good posts on Facebook and they just get laid into, you know. I seen a post once from a Thai girl. She joined a Facebook group and she looked like a nice girl. She wasn't, you know, I don't know what she did, but, you know, I don't want to say them words, but she looked like a nice girl. You know what I'm trying to say. And she just come on to this. It was an expats Facebook group. And she's just come on. Hi, guys. Just arrived in Bangkok. And I'm an American Thai. Hope everyone's doing well. Like the group. I'll contribute. Something like that. It's just introduced. the flack that she got, you had guys writing to her, you must be a hooker and you've only come on here because you're trying to, you know, make money. I mean, it was terrible, really awful. Hillary, sorry, I'm not reading your name. It looks like a Chinese name, begins with X, Xavier. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Hillary on Soy 4 live music band is great. Yeah, they are actually good. I'm not. Ed said he likes live music. I'm not a live music fan as a rule. And the one thing that winds me up in Pattaya that it never used to be, when Soy 8, where I used to stay in the East Indian Inn, the East Indian Inn was a real quiet hotel, even though it was on Soy 8. But when I was there last October, we went down to Pattaya, and they have a live band now, nearly in every bar along Soy 8. And the thing is, it's not a case of quality, it's quantity. So what I mean by that is they you know, they'll bang the volume up and they just try to be the loudest. They're all trying to they're all trying to outplay each other to be the loudest. And because they're so close together, it just becomes one massive noise. And, you know, I'm too old in the tooth for that. But there are some very good bars in Pattaya that have good live bands. Tom Manflyer 1100. So you can do super chats. It's voluntary. Yeah, it's my first stream. I'm not going to get into it too much at the moment. It was unplanned and unrehearsed, green screen. It's going pretty good at the moment, but we'll have a think about all that. French, okay, yeah, all right, thanks. Andy Booth, been watching for the last 6 months. Love the stories. Might send you my own when I pick up the courage. Andy, you don't need any courage. Just look. If somebody sends me a story, I'm not going to read out the real name. So sometimes people write to me and they say, oh, you didn't have to change his first name. Nobody knows him anyway. But I do it just to give everybody peace of mind. The hardest thing is trying to find a Thai girl's name that's easy to pronounce. You know, it's either Bun or Nok or Om. And somebody wrote to me once and said, you tend to use Nok a lot. So I changed that. And I think the last story we had, I think it was Bon and Gun, Gun. You know, it's a proper Thai nickname. But don't worry about it. If you've got a story, send it in. I'm sure everybody will enjoy it. I rewrite them anyway. It's like people think I get the email and I just read it out. A lot more work than that. I get the email. I have to, you know, a lot of guys write to me from Sweden and, you know, various countries in where their mother tongue might not be English. So I have to read it and then kind of rewrite some of it in such a way that it's easy to kind of read it back. So everybody, all viewers around the world will understand it. There's a lot of slang words sometimes, especially from English people, that I have to take out and replace with words that everybody understands. So if you've got a story, I'll change your names, I'll change your girls' names. Nobody will know it's you. And if there's certain bits, well, you won't write it if you want me to leave them out. So yeah, send it in. I'm a bit short of stories at the moment, actually. Oh, and the other thing, while we're on this subject, do you remember, if you're a regular and you watch my stories, do you remember that story I read out, was it last week, about Katie, the lady who got 50 years in a Thai prison because her boyfriend had kind of conned her to take, she was an Australian woman, but her boyfriend in Australia kind of conned her to taking drugs out of the airport. She got caught. Okay, yeah, I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. You could say she was silly, but anyway, 50 years for drugs. You know, she's had that commuted down to 28 years now. She's had 3 royal pardons, and you can only get a maximum of 8 years off a sentence with a royal pardon. It's quite complicated. But anyway, I was quite surprised because I thought I'd get some complaints because people would like to hear the relationship stories. And I had quite a few comments. People said, look, why don't you tell some more stories like that? So I'm limited what I've got. So if you've got an interesting story from your days in Thailand, something that happened, don't matter what it is. I mean, if it's not very good, I'll try and write back to you and say, look, you know, is there something you can add to it? And it can be about anything, really anything, but don't make it up. You know, I mean, there's no need to, you know, fantasize, is there? I mean, if nothing happened to you, then just enjoy other people's stories. Okay. Right. Ros Khan, Peter, I lost your email. Sorry. Okay. So my email address is Peter at, it's all small fonts, no capitals. So it's Peter at Thailand-Bound.com. Okay. Right. Right, Ros, my reason to be slow is because of my English. That's fine. I get a lot of stories where the English is not great. That's why I have to rewrite them. Cheers, Virgil. Amit Tamo, I like your history. He's talking about my bio on the website. Yeah, just how it went. Yeah, Ron Can said that was a sad story about Katie, the 50 years in prison. So I was afraid this might come up. So Adriano says, why did you prefer Thailand to Indonesia? It's just a personal choice. Like I said, when I was explaining that, I don't want to be derogatory towards Indonesia. For a start, the people were very, very nice. They were very, very welcoming. I enjoyed my time in Indonesia. I've got nothing I can criticize it about. What else? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of countries you go to, and there's good and bad. There's things you enjoy, things you don't like so much. I don't want to talk about things I didn't like so much because it happens everywhere. For instance, you go to Cambodia. Me personally, I didn't feel 100% safe in Cambodia. Nothing happened to me, but I just had this feeling that I didn't want to be out on my own in a dark street at night. The Philippines, I like the Philippines, but I didn't like the local food as much as Thailand. So in answer to your question, I just like Thailand a lot more because it suited me. I like, there's nothing derogatory towards Indonesia. Thailand was more my sort of style, if that makes sense. I hope that answers it in a sensible way. Who else we got? Right, Life Reset Thailand. Peter and Ed should do a live stream together. I think he lives about 1 million miles away from him. People think he lives in Liverpool because he's got a Liverpudlian accent, but I don't think he does. I think I've guessed what he does for a living. He doesn't like to tell people, but I think I've guessed it. There's not too much you can do where you can get away for lots of months in the beginning of the year, but there's one particular job where it fit in just nicely. If I ever meet him, I'll let him know what that is. Right, alcohol ban is a bummer in Indonesia. No, I didn't know there was one. I mean, in Indonesia, it's primarily a Muslim country. There's a lot of mosques, and it's the #1 religion. So you can get alcohol. I mean, I was there a long time ago. It was in the early 90s. Maybe it's all changed now, but they did sell a local Indonesian beer in the supermarkets. But any hard drinks, whiskey, vodka, that sort of thing, you could get them, but you had to know where to go. And they weren't displayed. So when you went into a shop, the guy had a cupboard underneath, and he had brown paper bags, and it was like you were buying dirty books, but it was like that. And it'd give you the bag. You could get it basically, all cloak and dagger stuff. But you've got to accept other people's religions, haven't you? I'll tell you what. I'll give it another 8 minutes, and then that's 2 hours. That's it's quite a long one, isn't it, for a first live stream? Right, Joe Dirt. Only places in Southeast Asia that can compare with Thailand's food options are Malaysia, especially Penang and Singapore. Yeah, I've been to Penang. I can't remember what the food was like. I also been to Johor Bahru. That's on the border of Singapore, north end of Singapore, south end of Malaysia. Again, Malaysia's a primarily Muslim country. Singapore, yeah, Singapore food wasn't bad as I remember. Something about Thai food. I don't know what it is. It's just there's just nowhere like it. Anyway. Joe Dirt, Bali is Hindu. Yeah, I've heard that. Stuart Roland, hi guys. Are we getting back this year? You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? We're only in February. If I had to make a prediction, I'd like to say at least by November, but I'm just guessing. I don't know. Joe Blogs, I was in Cambodia back in the early 80s. Real Wild West stuff. Happened every day. I think it still does. I had a friend who lived there in the late 80s, and he owned a bar. What was the name of it now? He owned a bar, and the police advised him to sleep with an AK-47. And his apartment building, when he used to go into it, down this dark alley, I went to it once, he used to jangle his keys when he walked in to make all the rats disperse. And a couple of nights when he was totally drunk, he'd hang out the window and fire this AK-47 up in the air, and nobody did anything about it. I mean, that's not the sort of place I want to visit. I'm sure it's changed now. Singapore is expensive. It was expensive back then. I used to we're talking mid 80s. I used to run a nightclub on Orchard Road in the I forget the name of the building. There's 4 floors, big nightclub at the top, but yeah, going back a long way then. Right, Ahmet from Turkey, welcome to you. Do you live in Istanbul? No, I live in the UK. Right, Poloska, is that, just say the last name? I have several stories I'll send to you. We exchanged emails last week. Okay, send me one at a time. That's the best way, and then you've got time to prepare them properly, haven't you? If you send me a story and you think I'm not going to read it out, there's not many that I've read and I thought, no, I'm not reading this out. I think out of probably 30, 40 stories I've done, I think I've had 2 where I just couldn't read them out. They were just too, sorry, they were just not suitable. But most of them I do read out. Adrian Smith, Thailand is more developed than some of these other Southeastern Asian countries, so more access to comfortable amenities. Well, I'll tell this story again. It was in that video I made, but I'll make it quick because I don't want to bore you, and we've got 5 minutes left. Thailand is more comfortable now because things have improved like they have everywhere else. Internet, for instance, you can access it everywhere. Every bar you go to near enough, you can jump onto their internet. When you're in a hotel, they've all got routers on each land, and it's everywhere now, internet. When I first, in the early 90s, when I used to work on the internet, Eastern Inn, Soy 8 Pattaya, I used to take a pack of razor blades. I used to cut the telephone line behind the back of the bed, hook on 2 wires, and dial out. That's how difficult it was to get online. But that's a story you've probably heard a few times. Right. Daryl, I would say Hong Kong or Japan is near second for street food. Okay. Right. Hard Tulip, India. Laugh out loud. I spent a year in India and I put on a lot of weight because I like Indian food, and they do a dish called the butter chicken, and you have it with a naan bread and a rice. And I was eating it late at night after a load of beers, and I put on about 2 or 3 stones, and I had to go on a crash diet when I left India. But I was in, it used to be called Bombay, it's Mumbai. I was there for a year, had a thoroughly good time. I found the Indian people in India were not the same as the Indians you meet outside of India, if that makes sense. Happy H, how can I send story? I'm 1-finger typer. You'll have to type it slowly, but you can send it. Slug Sand Snails, Peter, you love Thailand so much. Why did you never marry a Thai? Yeah, I could actually tell you that, but I don't really want to, because I don't know if one, I don't want to be derogatory because I love the Thai people, and I have got my reasons. One of them is I just left. If you don't know me, I am actually married to a lady from South Korea. I've lived with her for over 30 years. I spent a lot of time while we were married. I spent a lot of time in Thailand on my own because I had a business where I used to export from Chinatown to the UK. So I had an apartment over there. I spent a month, 2 months at a time. My wife's very open-minded, no problem. And when she lived with me, she knew I went out to Nana, I went to Walking Street, I went out with friends. A lot of my experiences have been gained, in the bars with friends, listening, watching. Let's move on. Right. Hard Tulip, Peter, I must visit India. Yeah, it's a great country. You should visit it. 900 million people, apparently. All right. David Carls, I don't understand why airlines don't just do the COVID test 3 days. Yeah, but then I hear you, I know what you're saying, but even then you've got the other end, haven't you? When you get to Thailand, you've got all you've got 10 days, they're bringing in 10 days from Monday in the UK now. So in theory, if you could go to Thailand, you'd have a day traveling, 14 days quarantine, another day traveling, 16 days. You get back to Heathrow, 10 days into a hotel. Do you really want to go through that? I understand if you've got if you came over here to visit your mum or something, and you've got a wife and a kid in wherever, in Thailand, and you've got to get back, then yeah, I'd do it as well. I would have definitely, I would jump on a plane and, I'd go through all the rigmarole of, going in the hotel for 10, 14 days, whatever it is, the quarantine, because I'd want to go back and see the wife and kids. But if you're going on a vacation, it's not something, Right, Adrian Smith wrote, this is in reply to the guy who said he's writing with 1-finger typing. You can dictate using Microsoft Word, save your fingers of you are a single finger typer. I think the software now, if you go and look up on YouTube, I think the software that is probably free as well, where you can actually talk into a mic and it'll type it out for you, and then all you do is you read it and correct it, because it's like auto, when you talk text into your phone, you never send it because it comes out 80% right, and then you have to change certain words. So you'll probably find that if you're a 1-finger typer, you can probably change it. Right, guys, that's 2 hours, 1 hour 59:47. I'm going to wrap this up now. So if you've joined me tonight, thank you very, very much sincerely. It was a really nice experience talking to you guys rather than just reading out a story. I might try and do another one Saturday if I can work out. I'll be too embarrassed to come back with a green screen, so I'll try and sort that out. I'll send you out a notification for Simon and Simon in Thailand and my live stream. And yeah, just nothing else to say really. Thanks very much for joining me tonight. Like I say, it was just a should I, shouldn't I? And I had one or two viewers at the beginning. I think one of them was me, but I had 135 in at the highest point. There's 115 in the screen now. 112 thumbs up, 4 thumbs down. So obviously 4 people out there didn't like it. So they probably won't be back next week. So yeah, good night, Steve, and thanks to everybody. Hard Tulip is now drinking Kronenberg. If I've missed some of the comments, you'll have to excuse me because it is really difficult to read out every single comment. But yeah, I'll just say bye to everybody. Everybody's saying bye now. So yeah, thanks very much. So that's it. So until next Saturday, I'll put out a little video tomorrow just reminding everybody about the new channel. And until then, I shall finish this. I might have a little bit of the amber nectar that I've got in my cupboard down there. Okay, but until next week, guys, thanks very much for joining me tonight. It was quite enjoyable, actually, and it was nice to speak to you guys, and I'll catch you next week.